There she is.
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Well, I'm not as busy as you are. Okay. Apparently. So what's it like to be in such demand that it's just hour after hour?
Oh, it's honestly mostly today. Normally it's like, not this crazy, but it keeps you busy, I guess. I don't know. It keeps you out of trouble.
Keeps you out of trouble. There you go. There you go. So it's nice to like meet you face to face.
Nice to meet you too.
This is like the first one of these that I've done with somebody that I really don't know. Like I don't have a personal relationship with or a working relationship with. So
Well,
it's
thanks for having me. That's pretty awesome.
no, hey, look, I was like, man, this is kind of cool. Somebody at a because we all look at ourselves at okay, what level are we at in this kind of in this I guess we could call it business, but it's more monkey business than anything. But business, business. Uh, I mean, that's the way it is. Um,
No.
so it's kind of cool that to kind of hear from somebody that I really didn't know and was willing to come on and probably not have any idea what she was in for.
I didn't. I was like, I told my husband, I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but we're just gonna go live. He's like, sounds fun to me.
Well, so the genesis of what this became is, and you kind of found out by accident. I do host like a paranormal podcast,
That's so cool.
and it's a whole different animal. It's behind no camera, so nobody has to look at our faces while we're doing it. But I had an artist that I worked with. She wanted to do a live a couple weeks. It's been about a month ago about a song that we had coming out, and we got such a good response. Some people that follow the podcast and stuff said, you ought to do that with some of your friends or whatever. We'd like to hear some of the music stuff. And so then of course, like I have a bunch of friends are like, yeah, I want to come on and let's do this because I think one of the things that kind of there's a lot of unknowns like when you are doing this, and I mean I know I write with a lot of young people. They think I'm the old guy, so they think I'm full of wisdom or something. I don't know, but but um, and they have a lot of they have a lot of questions about okay, how did you get into the do it this way, or what's my next move, or what should I that sort of stuff. And there's no like music business 101. I mean there are, but they still don't give away the like some of the behind the scenes stuff. And I think
Definitely.
it makes people feel good to know that they're not alone and not knowing stuff, and to see they're on the right path. So you're by far the most accomplished person that some of these people will get a chance to hear about. And I'm kind of anxious to the more I kind of researched you a little bit, I'm like, wow, you know um,
Oh.
she's got. I mean, I've been listening to some of your stuff, and it's close to my heart, like the kind of stuff I like. Um, and we'll kind of get into that. But so for everybody that's joining and wants to know, more about you and how you got started, you want to like just tell some people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and like what you were saying earlier about the unknown, it really is like, it's just do it for the right reasons every day. You know what I mean? Like, just want to kind of jump on what you were saying, just because I feel that, you never really know, and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. At any moment, anything could happen and take it all away, as we saw with like the pandemic and stuff. So, just do it for the right reasons, like what you're passionate about. If that's getting out in front of people and performing, or if that's writing the music, or if that's singing in the studio, whatever like fuels that fire for you personally, just find those things and do those, because that's also what you're going to be best at. And those are the things that are going to make you outshine and make you also just not get sick and jaded from this business, because this business is, you're right, it's a lot of monkey business. It's crazy. Not very many people choose to do it for a career because like everyone would do it if it was easy. It's so hard.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
percentage
you're right.
is small.
You're absolutely right. It is. It's like just today I was talking about some with another guy in the business, and we're talking about a couple things that kind of fell through, and you've done this a long time, and all the big things that are right around the corner, and then something happens, and it doesn't happen, and it's and then you're in Nashville, so you're in living the dream, and like I'm in Ohio. Every day I'm out on the mail route delivering mail. Okay,
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
not really, but
Good songwriting, man.
well, and that's kind of what I have to take a step back and say, like, okay, my song was being considered for like that movie or that TV show or by this person. It's like, why am I so disappointed? Okay, there's a lot of people in Nashville that would love for that to happen. And so I think a lot of times also we don't take the time to recognize how blessed,
Yeah.
yeah, how
Yeah.
blessed, and the small victories are very important. They're really important.
If honestly, like if you're anything like me, nothing's ever going to be good enough. Let's be real. You're going to get to that next thing and you're going to be like, what's next? And also just the way I like to look at it is if I were to go back 10 years and tell my younger self like, hey, this is where you'll be at right now and these are your accolades and accomplishments, the 10 years ago me would be like stoked. She'd be pumped. And I know that because of how far my journey's come. But it's really hard to look at it like that when you're that kind of person that like, you want to keep going, keep grinding, keep, get into the next thing, which you should be that kind of person. I think that's awesome, but it is hard because you do need to stop and enjoy the journey and smell the roses and take the little wins because all the little things are what's adding up to the big thing. And, I talk to a lot of my friends that have accomplished way more than me in this career. And they always say, like, it does not happen overnight. There's not one big moment. It's all those little moments. And then all of a sudden, it all comes together and then you're in this position. And I really do think that's true. So if you're not celebrating all those wins, then what is, what is the fun of this,
Exactly, exactly. And I think, like I said, I was reading some of your stuff, and so I almost knowing what you were doing in the early days, like working on a fishing boat, okay, and to I mean, I feel that way. That is kind of like parallels the post office in the winter time. I feel like
Oh,
like out there, and so how do you? Cause I bet if you look back at those days, you're really like, oh gosh, I'm a. You probably never thought as you were, busting your butt, like that you'd be spending a random Thursday night in December, like on your second, like kind of interviews type of thing.
totally. And
Yeah.
just full disclaimer too, I wasn't like full time on the boat. Every time my dad like listens to me during these, he's always like, "Oh, come on." It was like when I came home from college and I had to get some extra money kind of thing. And I grew up on the boat. So I was always little princess prancing around, doing whatever. And I mean, I did put in some hard work and I was like a baiter on the boat, which is like the worst job you can ever have. You're like cutting up frozen bait, it's melting and you're shoving it in crab jars and you're just like, it's disgusting. I don't recommend it, but it was like the only job that I was able to do. I was able to bait and drive. And so my jobs on the boat were not like my brother. My brother's the captain of the boat. So, he like laughs at me when I talk about it. But you're right. Like I worked my butt off and I went to college and I got 2 degrees and I never thought that this was possible, that this could be a career. I always thought like I'm going to have to go to law school and I'm going to have to be a lawyer and because I've always had the mindset that like I want to be able to provide for my family solely if anything were to happen to my husband or whatever. Like I want to always be able to be the provider and also that's great because if you have two providers, you know, you offer even more in life for for your children and all that. And so I always had that mindset, and I never thought this was possible. So you're right, like, you know, oh, I'm gonna mosey on up to my daughter's room and have an interview on Instagram Live, you know. And
Yeah.
this is like part of the job, and it's so fun. But you know, we're just really blessed, and we're really lucky we get to do it. And I just want to like tell everybody who's listening to, I know we have people tuning in and out and stuff, but you know, follow your dreams, whatever that is. You know, it may be something crazy different, or say your dreams to be the garbage man, like be the best garbage man that there is out there, you know, just do stuff that makes you want to wake up in the morning and get out there and always just keep going. You know, I just, too many people slave away at something they don't like, and I just hate that. Life is too short. So get out there
I
and do what you love.
I come home. I've been coming home late because I'm on the last turn of my of I'm heading towards my retire. I'm able to retire here in a couple of years.
Awesome.
Oh gosh, and it gets harder and harder every day because it's just, and that's what I would tell. That's what I tell these, a lot of these younger, can I call them kids, but younger people that I write with and do some stuff with. It's like, look, I mean, I'm not telling them they got to pick up and move to Nashville, but I'm saying if I was your age and things were different, what are you waiting on? This is what you
Yeah,
love. This is what you
but
want to do.
yes, but someone told me something very smart that stuck with me forever. If you have to tell somebody, or if somebody even asks you, like, what do you think? Should I move to Nashville? They don't have what it takes right away. Right away, I'm like, don't. It's that
Right.
person that goes, I'm moving to Nashville. That has what it takes. And like, that's what I did. I didn't know anybody besides Gretchen, and she wasn't even guaranteeing working with me. You know, she just was like, hey, here's my email. And I just took a leap of faith, and I was like, well, even if Gretchen Wilson doesn't decide to work with me, I'm just going to do it anyway, because I saw that Nashville, like I came to visit one time and I was like, you know what? This place is unlike any other place. There is no other place in the world that you can just go to a bar, sit by a hit songwriter, buy him a drink, and then all of a sudden you have a write next week on the books with him. Like, that is insane. It is a beautiful community, and people want to work with people. Like, they want to collaborate. So,
Hmm.
you know, it's just really important to, I mean, if you want to be a songwriter, you want to be a recording artist, whatever you want to do, Nashville is a great place to be. But with that being said, you can also be in your state and you can conquer that market and you can have a great career. You can make great money, tour all year long. Like, that's totally a possibility.
Hmm.
For me, I just was like, I want to be there. I want to live in it, in the circus. And it is,
And the circus.
but it's
Yeah,
awesome.
I know, and I over the years I've been envious of a lot of guys and girls that I do stuff with, and it's like, why aren't you guys more involved in what's going on down there? Um, and I think you hit the nail on the head. There is, if you've got to shake somebody to say, hey, maybe it's not really what they should be doing, and it kills me because a lot of people have so much talent. I mean, that's the other thing, is there is so much talent, whether it's singing or writing or whatever, that it's really hard to stand out. And if you can stand out, then that's, and I don't know the magic. I don't know the magic.
It's just not giving up. You can have talent, or you can be super business minded. You can like have more of one than the other, or you could be a road dog and just hitting it hard every night and just putting the days and hours, shake 100 hands, have 100 fans, you know. And like, it's not just one of them, you know, it's all of them. And some people are better at others than, like, I know some really talented people, but they're introverts and they have a hard time getting out and
Mhm.
socializing. So, but I know people who are super social, but maybe they're not as talented as that person. It's crazy. You just have to find like what you're good at, what part of it, and and know yourself, really know that that's what you're good at and just keep working away. This
Now,
is just,
now, what did it? Because I'm going to give you. I want to give you a chance to brag a little bit about yourself. So 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 what was it like that first time where Gretchen Wilson calls you on your tour bus on her tour bus and says you're pretty good? What was that? What did that feel like?
I it's really hard for me to like actually take a compliment. I think that's a good thing because I'm my own worst critic. And like when people say it, it's almost like I don't believe it, you know? Like someone can say it to me, but I'll be like, oh, thank you, thank you. But in my head, I'm like, I have like that imposter syndrome a little bit, which is weird. I am glad that I have that because I think it keeps me humble for the most part. I do think that sometimes people can get away from the reality of like, we are still just one tiny person in this huge universe. We're not really that big of a deal at the end of the day, but you could change someone's life, just by writing a song that impacts them. And so I almost like when people do like say that, I'm super honored and I feel um very appreciative about it, but in a weird way, like it's like weird for me. I just don't really believe it, which is good because I want to keep working, keep getting there. Maybe if I become, you know, top of the world stuff going on, maybe I'll like be like, oh, I deserve this, but I just never feel like I really deserve it. I don't know, it's weird. Does that answer it?
No, absolutely not. It doesn't answer. So what did it feel like when Gretchen Wilson was like, hey, look, I think you got something. I mean, come on, it has
Yeah,
to.
I guess
We're
I'm in
this
awe.
is the trust tree. Like
Yeah,
you could,
yeah.
yeah, you could say
I guess like I
what
would be in awe of like the fact that somebody that I've looked up to and imagined, oh my gosh, like she it has achieved the level that like I aspire to be at the top. And so yes, it was like, whoa. It's a crazy feeling because it's like it's unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. And then, the fact that we're best friends and literally I'm texting her 5 minutes ago. Like, she's the mother of my, or not mother, godmother. I'm the mother. She's godmother of my child. It's like pretty cool. It is unbelievable. Like sometimes I'm able to feel the gravity and the heaviness of how much that really means if you think about it, but very rarely I'm just like, it's just crazy. It's just like, you know, I don't.
and that is the best that is the best thing about like this business and stuff is that it's so small, really. I mean, it really is small.
When you're in it, you
And
understand that. Yep.
yeah, and you do realize that, you come across people who are like seem like they shouldn't. I have no business this person even talking to me. And the magic and beauty of a wonderful mentor too.
People have
There's
awesome comments coming in. Yeah. I just want to say thanks people for engaging. That's awesome.
and and it's just like you got to take a step back, but then once you realize they're just people, and they have, that Gretchen was probably at some point the same as you,
Yeah.
didn't believe she could do, was probably, who knows who took her aside and said, "Hey, I think you got it," and kind of blew her mind the same way.
Yeah.
And but then you find out that they're all just people, and everybody has an ability, and I think people that have reached a certain point in their career understand what it means to tell somebody that they may need to hear, like, you can do it.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. And they keep those comments too closer to them and they don't give them out as much when they get to
Mhm.
that level too, which it means even more coming from someone like Gretchen. Um, I mean, man, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I was able to marry the man of my dreams and have the most beautiful, awesome baby ever. Like, life is just good. And I thank the good Lord for giving me, the best life ever. So, yeah.
Well, your husband, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here because he's an Army Ranger.
So he's a Green Beret. He's special forces. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, yeah. So I wrote that song with a couple people. And when we were writing it, the Army Ranger term is very poetic and very easy to rhyme. And it's just, they're some of the most badass guys in the military. So, when we were writing that, it was more of, this is the coolest uh, way we can poetically talk about it. I mean, he's Ranger qualified and he did all the Ranger school stuff, but he didn't serve in Ranger Bat. So sometimes he gets like a little bit like, when I sing it, because he'll be like, babe, like, people think that I was in Ranger Bat and I wasn't. I'm like, you're Green Beret, you can chill, you're fine. Like,
So I need, okay, because some of my favorite guests on my paranormal podcast are they're former Army Rangers, they're military people who've had like Bigfoot experiences or paranormal experiences.
cool.
And of course, I mean, you're married to somebody who takes that job very seriously. And, so when they come to tell me these stories and then share them on our podcast, like, I have no doubt, like, what they experienced is what they experienced.
Yeah.
So since nobody's watching, what paranormal experiences has he had?
He's so scared of that kind of stuff that even if it happened to him, he would just be like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. He would just beat it away. Like, he hates scary movies. He won't watch them. Like, he doesn't like any
Wait
of
a second. No, wait a second. Normally, I like my green berets a little more tough and brave. But
that. What's funny is like, I think so. The real life stuff doesn't freak him out. He's like a human, all that, like murderers, all that stuff doesn't freak him out. He's like, but the unknown really freaks him out.
Well, in a lot of, I mean, we get a lot of experiences from military bases, and it's because of like where a lot of them are located. Okay,
Yeah.
number one, and they're in the remoteness of some parts of the bases themselves, and because there's so much security around them that there's nobody out messing around in certain parts, and so there's all kinds of stories. So
Have
I'd be
you
curious.
been to Fort Pickens yet?
I've not heard anything about Fort
You
Pickens.
should do something there because I've done 2 photo shoots out there because it's such a cool area. It's right outside of where we're at now, Pensacola. When we're there, I'm like, this is haunted. Like, there's no way this isn't haunted. Like, it just feels haunted.
Now, is Fort Pickens like a really old place? Like, are we talking like Civil War type?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it's really old. I'm not sure which war, but it was one of the last standing forts kind of protecting that part of the coast. So I know that.
Maybe like Spanish American War, maybe, or something like that.
I'm not a historian. I don't know. I'm going to sound really dumb if I pretend to know on here.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, check it out because I would be curious if you did something.
I will make a note of that and see if I can find anything about Fort Pickens. And you'll have to ask him then and see. Okay,
Yeah.
level with me. Have you heard? Have you been anywhere or heard anything that you haven't shared with me because you didn't want me to think you were crazy and stuff? But it is some of the. I mean, I love those experiences from those guys because, oh gosh, my Nita, who does my social media, says so now she's telling me what I need to do. Web search chain noted. So she made a note. So Nita has gone ahead and so she'll make sure that I
She's checking in.
Oh yeah, she's always watching. Nita is always watching. She's like everywhere, doing
Yeah,
everything.
you need someone like that. That's.
I do, because I wouldn't even know what was going on. You know, she's like the one that designed the cool like picture. You know, like
How cool.
for the yeah. Because I can't do any of that stuff. Okay? I can't do that stuff, and so she's I mean she's awesome. She does, you know, she keeps me in line. Okay, we'll go ahead and say it. But so we'll go back. We'll get away from the paranormal stuff, and so um so what was the biggest, like, as far as like songwriting? Okay, I know read, you know, that you are a co-writer on everything on your album. Now, is that something that, I mean, how good do you think you are as a songwriter?
Um, I definitely like to be the weakest writer in the room just because it's nice to write with people that are um, way better than me. I can definitely hold my own for sure. Like, you know, I can write on my own, and I studied music in college, so I've got a degree and know theory very well. I can play enough to write a song on guitar and piano. Obviously, live, I don't feel comfortable because the guys behind me are so much better than me. I'm just like, I'd rather just be a front man, rock and roll style. But yeah, no, writing music is one of my favorite parts, especially when I have a good hook already going into the write, and I know that's what I want to write. Um, because like getting into it and, you know, bringing someone else to collaborate with you and they're just really a great writer, it makes the song 10 times better, you know, than you would have done on your own. So personally, and it's also a moment where you're creating art with somebody else who's a profession at creating this art too. So, you know, you're not going to get a better product in my opinion. But yeah, no, I love it. I like to think that I'm good at it. You know, do it for a living now for quite a while. So I'm getting better every year though, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's definitely one of those skills that you're not going to get better at it unless you do it,
Oh yeah.
and do it, you know, every day. So where do you get like I mean, and this is a, I know the answer to this question, but where do you get like inspiration from to write a song? I mean, are you one of those like me that just carries a notepad around with you all the time in case there's something that
I call
you
it my
need?
hook book. It's in my phone. Like it's called my hook book. And I,
Stole that? You stole that from me, because that's what mine is called, the hook book.
okay, that's awesome. Heck yeah. Yeah, no, I have a passcode protected thing in my phone because I'm like, well, if anyone ever stole my phone, I want them to see these ridiculous ideas that yeah, but inspiration's like always different. I'm sure it's the same for you. Like the muse is what I call mine. Like I've always been like, ah, the muse is here. Like I gotta go right. You know, there's just no, you know, if I don't take advantage, then I'm gonna lose this idea. So I always have my phone up. I do a voice memo or I just jot down the lyric. Um, Sometimes it's so intense for me that an entire song just comes flying out. It's insane. Like, and sometimes I don't even have a piano or anything. I'm just in that mindset where it completely kind of takes control of me. And it's almost like this trance kind of state or meditative kind of state is crazy. And then other times it's like you sit in a room with somebody and you both don't really know where it's going and you're just beating your head trying to get the song out and you're just like about to give up. You're so close, but then you just take a break, you go to the restroom or you like step outside and then all of a sudden, boom, it's like you found the way to make the song a good song. So it's crazy how different the muse can be. But I will say it's so much nicer when it just comes and the inspiration is just flowing because
Yeah.
I feel like it's more meant to be rather than the work part. But it's good to have the work part too. So
Yeah, it is, and I think that's probably something that a lot of people getting into this don't understand. It sometimes, yes, everything just falls right out. It doesn't happen very often,
not
but
often.
but it is. There's a lot of work. Like I had somebody so famously say, they said, good songs aren't written; they're rewritten, and
Yeah.
and that is 100% true. You know, I mean,
Yep.
I you get you write something, you think, oh, this is great. We just worked at it for a couple hours, then you get a work tape back, and then you're like, ooh, I really need to we need to work on that. And you understand that when, now, are you just mainly writing for yourself, or are you writing to try to pitch to other people?
Yeah, no, I write for other people too. Like I've had artists cut songs that I've written with them. Uh, I do like writing for other artists. It's nice. It's less pressure. I go into the write and I'm just like, like, all right, let me just let them kind of talk about what they want, and like let them navigate a little bit, and let me just be that person in the passenger seat helping them drive rather than taking over the wheel. If I'm the person writing for my record, I definitely am the driver most of the time, because if you're not letting your writing buddies know what you're going for, the sound you're going for, what you want to say as an artist, because that's a big deal. Like if you don't get in a room with people that, and you're writing for your record, the people that know what you want to represent, it's just not good. So either you're going to go back and change a lot, or it's just not going to end up getting cut. So yeah, no, I write for other people too, and I like doing both equally. It's
Now,
pretty.
and that goes back to like really, so I'm way on the outside. Okay. I'm not like, I write with a lot of people from Nashville, but that's the beauty of Zoom and the pandemic really opened. Because for the 12 years I think I've been writing, that's the only way I could write,
Yeah,
because I've only been to Nashville a couple times to write. And so it was either you're talking on the phone or you're like emailing back and forth and stuff, and you
it's so hard.
come, yeah. And so the Zoom and all that other stuff was great,
Yeah,
and then nobody could go right. Not a lot of people could go right, so it kind of made it so that it opened
normalize
it.
it.
Yeah, and so, but I know from being so far how hard it is, okay, and how good you have to be,
Yeah,
and because it's hard unless you are writing with the artist.
yeah.
And yeah, I don't want anybody that's just starting out or whatever to think, oh my gosh, well, if I don't write with the artist, I'm not gonna. No, a great song is a great song, and it's gonna find a home.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. And
yeah,
like honestly, like songs like Friends in Low Places and stuff, like all those songs got written by somebody, and then somebody cut them. Like it doesn't not happen. It does seem like more nowadays artists are more wanting to write their own stuff. It seems like a little more common as opposed to what it used to be, but
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
still a
I think
possibility.
that's part of the revenue. It's so hard, the
Yeah.
revenue streams have shrunk,
Yes.
and to get more of a
More.
piece of it, an artist wants to have a legitimate slice of
Yes.
that pie, you know. So
It's man, it's so hard with the changes. It's always ever changing. That's another reason why you just gotta really love doing it.
now, so how long was it before you really felt like, okay, I've moved to Nashville. I've, been putting in the work. How long was it before you really felt like, okay, now I can see where, I'm on the right path. I've got the right people around me, and I'm heading in the right direction. I'm assuming you feel that way. So,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when I first moved to Nashville, it was like scattered, like didn't even know how everything worked. I felt like I was a freshman in college again. I was just like, I don't know even what writing sessions are supposed to be like. I don't know, because all I'd ever done prior was like written with my bands in my hometown, and recorded, at our house with like a little tiny track console thing with the microphone in the middle of the room, just I never had known like the level of professionalism. And so for the first, I want to say like year, it was just, finding people that gelled with me and my group of people and group of friends. And it's awesome because I'm still good friends with everyone to this day, which is really hard to do that. And I love that just happened, just serendipitous or whatever it was. But yeah, no, it's, I feel like now we're on the right track, but it's always one of those things like, you work with somebody for years, and all of a sudden they decide to move to a different state, or they decide to hang the hat and go find a big boy job, or they decide to, you know, they decide to do something else. Like, so you're always constantly finding your people, and, just because somebody decides to move away or whatever, it doesn't mean they're not my people anymore, but it definitely makes a difference in how often we see people and all that, because not only is this my career, but it's my lifestyle, and like, you can't do this and have it not be a lifestyle. Like, everything I do on a daily basis, I can pretty much write off on my taxes lifestyle. Like, it's so
that's the secret. Let me write that down. Make sure
I'm serious. If it's for music, write it off.
I know. I'm not saying I do that for music and the podcast, but maybe I don't.
Yeah, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. So where do you, like, what's your goals? Like, what would really, like, make you stop and think, okay, like you said, like, I've made it. Like, what would you, because it, like, is being on the radio a big, I mean, because I'm assuming that some of your music's been on the radio. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, my music has been on secondary radio a lot. Like, and also some major market radios. Like, I've been blessed for that. It's expensive to keep going the radio route, so we've taken kind of a hiatus. We haven't done a radio tour for a little bit, just because we're waiting. I'm about to release a record, and I have some songs I believe in enough to spend that kind of money behind. But it's taken until I release it to do it. But my goal in the end is to be able to make music when I want to make music, tour when I want to tour, and just be able to have full creative control of my career. Because, a lot of people, they end up sacrificing a lot trying to fit into this box of what, they think is going to sell and all this stuff. Like, I've had people tell me all the time, like, you can't release this song and then release this song. Like, why not? Like, I just, good music is good music to me. And my favorite artists are all over the map. Like, the people I listen to and look up to, they are everywhere. They play some rock and stuff. They play a little bit of jazz influence kind of thing. They do country. Like, so I don't know. I obviously have some goals. Like, I want to play at the Grand Ole Opry. I want to play at the Ryman. I want to get a Grammy one day. I want to have a number one day. Like, those goals, awesome. I have them. Of course, we all have them. But I will say, if tomorrow was my last day, I am very proud that I can live this life and be able to put my family first, along with doing music, and make the music I love and show it to the world, So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's the main goal. But, it would be awesome in 5 years if I had a number one.
Yes.
Or actually, next year, number one.
Well, yeah. Why wait 5 years? Let's move it up. It's funny. Like, you're kind of saying, you can't release that and release this song and that song or whatever. And I'm thinking about who your mentor and friend is, and like she, I don't think she played by many of the rules.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of just did what she, what she wanted to do, and felt like, okay, this is me. This is how I'm gonna, and I think what a lot of people miss is that genuineness of, this is who I am, and I'm telling you my story in almost every song. I think that's what most people relate to.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the polish nonsense, and I hate to say that, but I mean, my I lean old school stuff, and I'm listening to your stuff, and it feels like that those songs could be, from the 80s rock, they could be, and it's great. Okay. But it doesn't say, it's not dated, but you're like, I could have heard this song when I was, a teenager, and it had been my favorite song on the radio, and, so I,
That's cool.
I think it's kind of neat that either that's the style that somebody told you to be, or that's the style that you love, and you're just like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's the style that I love, but then also the influence that Gretchen had on it when she was producing it with me too. Like that's her through and through, is like that 80s rock. So yeah, you hear it because it's there, whether she's just channeling kind of that vibe, or we just both prefer the guitar sound over, it's there for sure. So thanks for saying that.
Now, you write some with Gretchen then for your album, or
Yeah, a lot of
so I just picture her being like super honest, like, this sucks, we got to do better. Like, is that how it is?
it has happened. It has happened.
Good. So all the young people that I write with, when I tell you guys that, it's just being nice. We're just being nice.
Some people have like the tough skin for it. Some people don't, like I was raised around a bunch of cussing sailors. So I'm
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But you guys, I think there's a reason why, you guys were cosmically thrown together, because I think that it certainly seems like you guys are, I don't want to say made for each other. That sounds kind of like,
No,
but I mean,
yeah,
but,
I think people are made to be in your life. Like when I met her, I felt it. I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to know you, and like I feel like you're supposed to be in my life. And I feel like that about a lot of people. I can just tell they're supposed to be there. So no, I don't think that's weird at all. Whether that's a God thing or we're all connected thing, whatever you believe in, it can be, it can be explained, I think, in whatever people believe in. But yeah, she's
yeah. I do. I mean, I'm a big believer of if you put something out there, that's what you're going to attract. And and that kind of vibe, you obviously have it, and that's what you got somebody that was perfect to kind of, lead you through some of the stuff that you had to get through to get, and to get great song. I mean, and the song, and I'm not just saying that because you're gracious enough to come on and talk but I mean, the songs are great. I mean, I listen, I have that, sometimes I can't enjoy songs, because as a writer, you're like, okay, let me hear these lyrics, and nothing, I'm just going to say, nothing drives me crazier than hearing something that's on the highway or on something that got passed through, and it's like, come on, that's the best lyric in,
like a song that's like he's rhyming every other word, and you're like, oh, so many rhymes. You're hurting my brain.
and every time I try to bring one of those to a co-write, everybody's like, come on, that's lame. Come on, what are you doing?
Just trying too hard, I feel like.
No, so what would you want? So anybody that's like tuning in or that will see this, because I'm going to put this up on our YouTube stuff so people can come back and see it. So if anybody's listened to my nonsense this long and stuck with us, what would you want them to know about if they came to see you at a show, what they could expect, and what you would want them to walk away and do when they, about your music, like what just happened, like, what would you want them to do about Jessie G?
I mean, I feel like for the most part, my shows are very like in your face, high energy. Like I'm going anywhere from bouncing around all over the stage to actually getting in the audience and sticking a microphone in your face if it looks like you're going to sing back to me. And if you're not going to sing back to me, I'm probably going to like sit in your lap or something awkward. Just kidding. But no, my shows are super like.
Wait a second. Did you work at a strip club or a fishing boat? Like what?
Uh, yeah, no, I won't sit on your lap, I swear. But my shows are definitely engaging, and I try to just get on the level of everyone there. Like there's sometimes you'll come to my show and it's like everyone wants to sit down and everyone wants to be serious and they want to hear you talk. Or there's sometimes people just want to party and that means, a lot of jumping around and like more high energy. So my show is pretty much kind of like what you're there for. I have this weird sense of feeling energy in the room and vibe in the room. And when I pick that up on people, I usually take that and I try to kind of get on the level with everyone there. And then I try to raise it up. Oh, someone just commented, I saw you at Mountaineer Casino. Aw, thank you. Who was that? Oh,
That
Mia,
was that was
Neon
that
Dude.
was that's my buddy David Wade, who I was commiserating with today about some of our stuff, falling through and some of our and he when I told him you were gonna
Yeah.
come on, he's like, wow. He goes, I remember seeing her because he does a lot of stuff in Nashville, and he was just down there yesterday or Monday. Wade Jennings, he helps manage Wade Jennings a little bit, and he was cutting an album, and he was talking about I mean I don't know how long. He's a great songwriter. Look at Nita, like pimping David Wade. I mean, come on, what? um, yes, he's a great songwriter, but I carry him in most of the sessions. I'm just going to tell you. But but yeah, he had he kind of described. We had that discussion of how you kind of were like going and watching Gretchen, and which is a huge. I think it's a huge compliment because she was fantastic. She's fantastic, and there could be a lot worse people to be compared.
He's so good live. Like it was really awesome to have my first real, nationwide tour be with her because, man, she raised the bar for me when it came to like what it meant to be a performer. Because like her songs live, she hits even higher notes than on the recording, and her voice is just so powerful. Like, man, she's gonna come out of retirement here soon. She promised me, and she is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Man, get out and see her live. She's so good. But
So when are you and her coming to Ohio? So we know when to show up and look, don't stick a microphone in my face because I'm not singing either. But so what's your plans for touring coming up then?
yeah, I mean, we're already booking shows for next year. We have some stuff on the books in the UK already. We're booking stuff. We have a lot of more northern part of the country shows so far. We're just deciding. I know that things are about to get the holidays. Things always kind of like slow down, and also for us, and it's actually really nice because our child's about to turn 1, and she's in this phase that's super awesome because she's an actual real human now, like putting things together and she's walking now. She's almost talking.
You're just in such big trouble. I'm just going to say.
Like already running around like, oh, man. But yeah, no, after the holidays, things are going to pick up and get super busy. But yeah, like this weekend, I'm singing the national anthem for a ball, a military special forces ball. And then I'm singing on Monday in Nashville at Jeffrey Steele's Operation Song at the Franklin Theater on Monday. And a lot of cool stuff in the works. Just if anybody's wondering, if you follow my page, you'll see me. I'm very good at posting most days, so I usually talk about it.
Well, if you're not good, then you need to talk to Nita because Nita keeps me straight when it comes to posting stuff. Oh my god! And like you just did the national anthem at was it the Titans Packers game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So next time you're doing a national anthem for a professional football game, I need to know so I can maybe have you go injure a player or two. That might help you fantasy a little bit. Like kick somebody in the shin, or steal their cleats or something.
So
Take their home.
the first time I went and sang last year, because this was my second time this year. Last year I was like 8.5 months pregnant, and we were down on the field, and I was just oblivious, and I was in the way of the kicker for the Packers, and he was like kicking into his like net on the side, and I'm just standing there in front of him, and he was so sweet. He didn't even like tell me, "Hey, can you move?" And like he just waited for me, and my husband was like, "Jess, get out of the way," and I was like, "Oh my God, I just interrupted a professional football kicker."
There you got to have it, folks. Mason Crosby is a great
Yes.
human being.
Yes, he is so
He's
sweet.
a perfect gentleman.
He was
He's
like, "It's
perfect.
okay." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot."
Um, so I've taken up so much of your time, but I appreciate you hanging out and just
Yeah.
talking. And so before we end this, tell everybody where they can go find all your goodies at, and then if you want to give one piece of advice to everybody who's an aspiring artist or songwriter, what you'd
I
give it
feel
to.
like this conversation was full of tons of great advice, so I feel like I'm going to be redundant, but I'll think of something. But yeah, you can follow me at jessiegmusic.com. My Instagram's right here, Jessie G Official. My Twitter's Jessie G _music. Facebook at Jessie G Official. YouTube at Jessie G Official. And yeah, like my music is all over anywhere you listen, so go check it out. And if you follow me on those streaming platforms, it helps. Follow your favorite artists. It helps them so much. And also, you'll be the first one to see when they release new music. So, there's a big perk into
And the
following.
big Spotify rap stuff came out. So have you checked your numbers on the Spotify rap?
I
How
haven't yet. I
you
haven't.
haven't yet? You haven't yet? It's curious. Some of the people I know that I'm friends with are like comparing last year to this year, and that's
Yeah.
kind of a cool. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing to. In fact, I was trying to get our numbers for the podcast just so I could see, you know, whatever it means. I mean, I can't believe anybody listens anyway, but
Oh, stop it. I'm going to listen now. I'm going to go check it out.
I would strongly suggest, because I think you, and make your husband listen too, is to go back to, there's a couple of really good, like Army Ranger and military, and because I think it'll definitely resonate with him, because he'll understand the language
Mm-hmm.
and how they're talking about what happened, and I think he'll probably be like, okay, maybe I can talk about what happened to me, because I'm listening to these guys and I understand the lingo, how they're describing the situation and
Yeah.
and different things that they did, and so it's just like, okay, and then I would get, we're listened to all over the world, so people that are military all over the world were like getting a hold of us and saying, oh my gosh, you
That's so
know. So I think for military guys in the military, those are the ones that really hit home, because it's their brothers and sisters that are experiencing the same thing, and they totally, totally know. And you don't get to be a ranger or a tier 3 specialist or a green beret just because you're just raise your hand and say,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, you have to be the best of the best, and you have to be trustworthy,
Okay.
and because your team counts on you, and if your team can't.
They give you like psych tests and stuff too before they put you in those positions. So yeah,
Yeah, gosh.
I'm going to listen.
So before we sign off, then what's recapsulate then what you would say, because I loved what you said earlier about, look, if I got to tell you to move to Nashville, then
Then
but
you're
if
not.
you're
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that every day is not going to be your best day. Most days are not like climactic, like most days are just the work part of it. You just got to get up in the morning, figure out a way to put in the work, every day. Just keep grinding. And all those little days, just the little things, they all add up to the really big things that end up happening for your life and your career. And don't give up. Like Nashville's a 10-year town, you know, and this career is a 10-year career. Like if you were to go be a doctor, it would take you 8 years. If you were to be a lawyer, it'd take you 8 years, you know? So why do you think that this career is not going to take you that long? So be ready to put in the years. It's not going to happen overnight. And just be ready to work hard. And if you love it, your worst day is still going to be your best day. Like at any other job, your worst day is still your best day. You know what I mean? Like you do it because you love it, and do it for the right reasons. Don't do it for the fame or the money or all those things, because those things are like, they're not going to create real happiness. I mean, they help, but like, they're not going to, you know, they're not going to fulfill you in a way that writing a song that changed someone's life would fulfill you. So do it for the right reasons, and yeah, put in the work.
I love that. And as the father of one lawyer and another one that's going to law school,
Awesome.
that's so true. You don't just get to come out of school and say, "Oh, I want to be a lawyer, so I'm going to go try cases," you know. And my oldest daughter, who is a prosecutor, loves everything. And just like you said, her worst day, she still loves it, you know. And I think so. You hit that nail right on the head. There is it's not a job if you love doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Like make it your life, make it a lifestyle. Obviously, put the right people first, and don't ever let your job and all this take away from your kids and your husband or your wife, or, you know, like balance your life, you know.
I'm gonna replay this tomorrow for the postmaster and say, "Look, Jessie G said this. I didn't say this. So when you ask me to go out and deliver more packages, just because it's Christmas,
Tell
I need,
him
you know."
I said you need way more vacation days.
Trust me, I work for the government. I have plenty. I'm I'm not hurt. But Jessie, thank you so much for. I don't know how this all happened, but thank you so much for
Thank you.
coming on and hanging out. It was awesome. So I'll be keeping track of what you got going on, and helping promote your new stuff, because I love to do that, especially good stuff. I love to share. So
Thank
I
you,
will
Shane, for
definitely.
having me. And also, same to you. Make sure to keep sending me stuff when you release it. And I'll be looking out for your podcast too.
Good. In fact, I may send you. I'll send you that one episode just so you can get started. The beginner. Called the beginner kit. I'll send you
Yes.
the. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Keep working hard, and I'm expecting big things.
Oh, thank you, Shane. You too. See you later.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.